Rain pounds, earth cracks, mountains collapse, rivers turn into walls of mud, snow and ice rush like living beasts. These are the moments when nature doesn't warn, it attacks. Today we're witnessing 5 of the most shocking natural disasters ever caught on camera. Hold tight, what you're about to see is raw, unstoppable, and terrifyingly real. Nagaland, India. Landslides and floods 2025. The summer of 2025 didn't arrive in Nagaland, it attacked. The sky opened and refused to close, unleashing a weeping fury that went on for weeks, until the very earth could drink no more. The ground, saturated beyond its limits, began to weep itself, a thick primordial ooze that bled from the hillsides. Rivers burst their banks, not with water but with a churning predatory soup of mud and debris. One camera, clutched in a shaking hand, becomes a window into a waking nightmare. Villagers are not waiting, they're fighting for every inch against a current of liquid earth that grasps at them with a cold-sucking hunger. The very ground beneath their feet trembles, a constant low-frequency warning of the mountain's imminent collapse. The sound is a hellish symphony, a visceral snap of ancient trees breaking their spines, the metallic shrieks of roofs being torn into oblivion, and beneath it all, the low, hungry roar of the mud flow, a sound that doesn't just fill the ears but vibrates in the bones. In the heart of this chaos, a single figure emerges, a portrait of desperate defiance. A man half submerged fights the tide, a child clinging to his back. His voice cuts through the din, not a shout, but a raw, guttural plea against the inevitable. Then a home, a lifetime of memories simply folds in on itself and is consumed by the advancing maw, vanishing without a trace. This is the planet shrugging us off. One moment a path exists, the next it is erased from history. Every frame of this footage is a heartbeat in a fight for survival, a silent scream against the dying of the light. If this shook you, brace yourself. What's next will make your jaw drop. Make sure to like and subscribe, you want to see it all. Mount Denali, Alaska. Avalanche at 4,000 meters camp. Silence. That's the first deception of the high alpine. At 4,000 meters on Denali, the world is reduced to a stark, beautiful, and lethal simplicity. The air is thin, the cold absolute. Climbers feel like kings in a frozen kingdom. They are guests, and in an instant, the mountain revokes their invitation. It begins not with a sight, but with a sound, a deep-throated growl that seems to emanate from the mountain's very core. Then the horizon moves. An entire face of the world fractures and peels away, becoming a raging white dragon of ice and snow, hell-bent on annihilation. It doesn't fall, it flows, accelerating with a terrifying gravitational glee towards the tiny specks of color that dared to call this place camp. The footage dissolves into a shattering universe of white. Tents are obliterated in a blink. Ropes vaporize. The camera jerks and spins, a victim of the maelstrom, capturing glimpses of a climber diving behind a frail snow wall, another scrambling up a ridge as house-sized blocks of ice impact around him like artillery shells. This isn't weather. This is the mountain's wrath, a cold, indifferent violence. When the roar finally fades, the silence that returns is deeper, heavier. It's the sound of absolute conquest. The camp is gone, buried under a pristine white shroud. The mountain is watching, and it has spoken. Chile. Avalanches and snowstorms, 2024. The Andes in 2024 didn't experience a storm. They endured a white apocalypse. Snow fell not in flakes but in solid, relentless walls, smothering entire towns under a suffocating frozen blanket. Civilization didn't just halt, it was entombed. Cars became abstract shapes under the drifts. Homes groaned under the weight, their windows peering out like the eyes of buried creatures. From a ridge, a camera captures the futility and bravery of the response. A convoy of rescue vehicles, mere insects against an infinite white, inching through a corridor of ice. They aren't driving on a road but tunneling through a glacier they pray won't shift. Every meter gained is a gamble with fate. a dance on the edge of a precipice hidden by the very thing that threatens to push them over. Then a shift to a more intimate horror. Inside a collapsing cabin, rescuers claw through ice and splintered wood to pull a family from their freezing prison. Their faces are not just pale, they are waxen, their eyes wide with a fear that has exhausted itself into shock. The moment they're hauled into the heated vehicle, the relief is so palpable it hurts. A single warm heartbeat in a vast frozen corpse of a landscape. Outside, the wind doesn't blow, it screams, scouring the world clean of all warmth and life. It's terrifying, beautiful, and utterly, utterly merciless. Venezuela, massive 800-meter landslide. This is the Earth moving in its sleep. After weeks of rain, a hillside in Venezuela simply decided it would no longer stand. A colossal segment of the planet, 800 meters of rock, soil, and history, detached itself. This was no flash flood or rapid avalanche. This was a slow, deliberate, and geologic unraveling. It was the world in ultra-slow motion coming apart at the seams. The footage is chilling in its scale and its silence. There is no dramatic roar, only the deep, grating rumble of continents grinding. You watch as 15 houses are not crushed but dissolved, their structural integrity meaning nothing to the billion-ton mass pushing through. Trees, towering ancient beings, shatter into toothpicks. A road is simply erased. A colossal dust cloud, the mountain's last breath, billows into the sky, turning the air into a choking brown twilight. The miracle of the evacuation is what makes this so haunting. The camera pans to the faces of residents watching their world die. There are no cheers, only a profound silent disbelief. They are witnesses to their own near erasure. The landslide is a primal warning, a reminder that the ground we build our lives upon is not a permanent stage, but an active, restless entity that can reclaim everything in a single groaning sigh. Nepal, Himalayan avalanche, 8,000 meters. At 8,000 meters in the thin, soul-starved air of the death zone, humanity is an affront to nature. The Himalayas are not a landscape. They are a monument to indifference, a place of terrible, beautiful absolutes. The calm is a lie. The silence is a trap. The avalanche that strikes is not of this world. It begins as a distant thunder that quickly morphs into the sound of the sky tearing in half. A wall of ice and snow, taller than skyscrapers, explodes down the face of the mountain. It moves with a speed that seems to warp physics, a tsunami of white death consuming everything in its path. The camera from a distant vantage point captures the horrifying scale. Tiny ant-like figures of climbers, frozen in their tracks, looking up at their doom. There is no time to run, no time to pray. One moment they are there, next they are swallowed whole by the blinding, churning void. The sound is the end of the world. The visual is hypnotic in its horror, a cataclysm of sparkling ice crystals and murderous force against the majestic, unforgiving peaks. It is both awe-inspiring and soul-crushing. To survive this is to carry a ghost within you. It is to have stared into the absolute heart of nature's power and witnessed a truth that words cannot hold, that the most sublime beauty on earth is also the most terrifyingly lethal. So which of these shocking disasters left you speechless? Let us know your pick down in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay safe.